You guys, what a roller coaster of a week. From feeling very uninspired to finding my way again. From getting to read a ton to not getting to read at all. Let's talk about this week's Reading Roundup. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Nikhil with Shelf-Esteem. I'm a composer now, also a booktuber. You can find my music in The Wheel of Time Season 2, His Dark Materials Season 3, and the newly released The Hills of Tanchico, the featured song in The Wheel of Time Season 3 Episode 6, and now for your Emmy consideration. So, I wanted to talk about what happened this week because it's been a little bit of a roller coaster of a week, like I mentioned at the very beginning of the video. I've been feeling very burnt out lately because I've been doing a lot of events. I've been going either doing an interview or doing press related stuff, going to other events and kind of promoting the Hills of Tanchico because I'm doing an Emmys run right now. And then also trying to work on music projects, trying to train for this triathlon, trying to read books in between and work on this YouTube channel. So definitely been spreading myself pretty thin and have been feeling a little uninspired this last week. But luckily, the week has been ending on a really high note. Pun intended. So let's talk about the week, but let's start off like I always like to do with the books. So if you like this kind of video, please like and subscribe. Always helps out the channel if you hit the notification bell. That way you can always know when the new video pops up. And, feel free to watch it to the end because it actually does show in the metrics and makes YouTube kind of push it out to the people. But let's talk a little bit about the books. So let's start with the most obvious one. Now, this one was the long anticipated, I know for me, I know for a lot of you, The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. Now, I was so excited to get to this. This is book one of a planned series that is not in the First Law universe. I was excited to see what Joe Abercrombie had cooked up for us in something that wasn't First Law, which I've been really enjoying. I'm about 5 books into that 9-book series right now. So I kind of opened up a channel on Discord and a bunch of us have been reading it together. I got through 40% of the book rather quickly. And I gotta say, I'm feeling a little mixed to positive on it right now. There's a few things I like, a few things that are kind of giving me a little bit of a reading slump when it comes to this book. So let's talk a little bit about that so far. Now, all this is subject to change, right? I still have another 60% to go. So let's see what happens. But I think what I've really enjoyed about it is it's just fun. It's a little bit different to First Law in its tone. It doesn't necessarily have the existential aspects of First Law, which I really enjoyed, but it is just a fun ride, and it's a very plot-driven book, I think, in a lot of ways, that there's a focused beginning, middle, and end, like an objective of these characters. Every character has a very unique kind of a flair to them, I guess, that really makes them feel like their own character. They are all part of this ragtag group of people that are kind of in this quest together. So those aspects I do like, and I usually like that in my fantasy in general. I think what's really giving me gripes right now is the first 10%. I was like, oh my God, this is like up there with First Law for me. I was immediately riveted with Brother Diaz and the introduction of all these characters, right? And then it kind of started to fall off for me. And I think there's a couple reasons for that I want to mention. And I would love to know after you watch this video, if you think the same or different, like let me know. I would love to know, whether we agree or disagree. It's always nice to have that dialogue, right? So I think one thing I've always loved about Joe Abercrombie is his humor. He'll write these very grim, dark kind of aspects to his books, right? His First Law universe, but his characters are so compelling and his humor is just so tastefully done that it just breaks up the darkness at just the right moment, and it's a nice juxtaposition. And he has just a very witty humor. Now, here's where I feel like it kind of falls short for me is I think he took the humor too far in this book, for me at least. And there's less emphasis on character work in the same way that I felt like in First Law. Like when you first read the first few pages of The Blade itself, you already know that this is going to be different to any other fantasy book you've read. And you could see that you're kind of introduced to Logan Nine Fingers. You see kind of a little bit about his inner monologue, what he's going through. And he's completely alone at this point, right? And it just gives you a compelling insight into his character. Whereas I don't feel that same compelling insight. I do like the character dynamics between certain characters, but I don't feel necessarily that it's, man, these characters have so much depth and dimension. There's a little bit more of the surface level fun to it, which hopefully gets deeper as it goes. But I do feel that was the biggest glaring aspect of it. And then the humor, like I mentioned, I think, there's so much witty banter back and forth that it's kind of like, come on already, I want to see what happens, And I didn't feel that way in the first law. Like, in the first law, I felt like, oh, they could be talking about whatever, I don't care, I'm along for the ride, But I don't quite feel that with this. And I kind of put down the book for a few days. I'm actually excited to start it up again this coming week, but I was definitely feeling a little bit lackluster on it. Maybe it's a comparison trap, but I would love to know what you all think about this. But let's talk a little bit about the other book I got a chance to read, because this one kind of helped reset things for me. And I think I'm ready to go back to The Devils now because of this book. So this one is Book 5 of James S.A. Corey's The Expanse series, Nemesis Games. So I'd heard this was a great book, and I read about 100 pages in one sitting. Immediately. I mean, character work is some of the best I've read in the Expanse universe so far. I think the complexity of characters like Amos, people that have had kind of almost like a lighthearted factor to them that, was a bit more one-dimensional, I think, in previous entries, but was kind of nice. You have one character that's like that. You could juxtaposition these more complexities, but now you start getting insight into these other characters, and you could feel that it's starting to feel less like a heist sci-fi and a bit more space opera. It's opening up into a larger world, both literally and figuratively. So I'm very excited to see where the characters go for this, and I'm excited to continue on this. I mean, it's a fast read. It's almost 600 pages book, 500 something, and I feel riveted. I mean, I'm just so excited. I'll probably try to pick this up before an event I have to go to after filming this video. I'll try to pick this up and snag a few pages, but I'm loving this. I mean, I understand now why a lot of people say this is one of the high points of the series, and it feels like that for me. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to read this week. So I have a very clear objective for the first time in a long time, is I want to finish Nemesis Games. I want to finish The Devils, actually, because I'm enjoying it enough to continue, and I'm excited to read that last 60%. I've been able to, when I have time, I'm able to get about 20% in a day. So, that's something that is, I think, reasonable to do. And then I also want to continue on a book that I had put a few days break on, and that is Flint by Louis L'Amour. It's weird. A leather-bound copy that I got with a really cool signature, actually. Louis L'Amour's signature there, embossed into the cover. And this is kind of a Western. It's very different to any book I've read. I haven't read too many Westerns, so this is very short. It's like 200 pages or so, not even, 181. And I'm reading this with Mark from the book thing. It's kind of a buddy read we're doing, and the timing aligned, and it's great because, getting to know him better through reading something together is really fun. So it's nice to read a book that is so out of my wheelhouse, for one, and then to read it with a friend, right? I think that always makes it more dimensional of an experience. So that has been really fun. I'm going to finish this one for sure as well. So that'll be 3 books I'll be finishing this coming week. Now let's talk a little bit about the channel updates for this week. So a lot of things happened actually this week, not necessarily on my channel, but in the larger Booktube sphere. So we are at 1,187 subscribers right now. So we got a little bit of a jump, and I had posted one of the videos I did this week in a Reddit thread, and I think it got a little bit more eyes on it. And I'm like, hey, maybe I should share my videos. Who would have thought, right? So I'm going to try to get better about promoting the videos that I, put up, and hopefully it'll reach a wider audience and more people can join our wonderful community, both on Discord, in the comments, watching the videos, and of course the FABLE app where we're doing 4 read-alongs at once. So all that, by the way, is in the description. If you want to check those out, you can join. Free to join, free for all. So then I got a chance to do a very special video actually this week. So I've been doing 2 videos a week. I do a Reading Roundup, and then I do something else. And this something else, I'm hoping to kind of ramp up back to 3 videos a week. Again, I had to take a couple weeks of doing less because things have been so slammed. But this video was very special. It took some time to put together. And I'm going to link it up here, and I'm also going to put it in the description for you. But it is the making of the Hills of Tanchico. I wanted to figure out a way to combine my love and experience with music for adaptations and also the books that contain them. Kind of how I approached reading the source material and then translated that into the world building, the musical world building that's required when writing something that is a geographical location in a fantasy series, right? A beloved fantasy series for that matter. And just the whole process of recording it, I even had layers by layers breakdown. Like, here's just the percussion. Here's just Kira Coveney's vocals. Here's added on, just kind of showing all the layers together. And that was really fun. And it seems to have gotten some positive feedback. It seems like people have been wanting to see a bit more of this. So I might make this a new segment on the channel and periodically put up some books to score things, like how was it like working on an adaptation, maybe pick a little specific aspect of that and highlight that in a video. But let me know in the comments if that sounds like something that you'd be interested in as well, because this is all a continual experiment, on the channel. So I appreciate everyone who's watched it thus far, and if you haven't gotten a chance to, you can check those out as well. And then I got a chance to do 2 live streams, and 2 live streams with some wonderful people. So on Friday, I got a chance to chat with another good friend of the channel, David from Four Corners of the Page. And we both have very similar energy levels when it comes to making videos and talking. And a lot of people joined the chat, which was really nice. And people were asking questions as well. And David had kindly compiled some questions from Joanna Reads, a couple of other people as well. And it was really nice to just hang out, on a Friday and just chat with everybody. So it was really great. David, thank you so much for having me on. And every time we get a chance to chat is a joy. So I can't wait for us to do that even more often. Maybe read some books together to boot. And then the second one was actually on Saturday, and that is called Brunch and Books. It's a segment on Josh from Red Fury Books' channel. And I was really delighted to be a guest along with Ian the Reader and Brian from BellTube. So 3 of my favorite go-to channels that I love watching and lurking in the comments section and seeing, their videos and their new unique takes on things. Josh specifically has ignited and helped ignite my love of historical fiction, and he's very widely read, so it's always fun to watch his videos, and it was really great to be on the channel. So lovely meeting you, wonderful people, and Josh, thank you for having me on. And that was a really great 2-hour chat. Again, a lot of people in the comment section, a lot of familiar faces as well. So really fun hangs, and I gotta say, like, it has underscored for me the power of live streams, of people coming together to talk in real time about the books they love, and to also dive very deeply into specific topics. Something that long form videos like this can't necessarily achieve, because you bounce off each other's ideas. And I love that aspect about Booktube. So I am excited to do a lot more of that. So speaking of which, let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen this coming week. So got a few things planned. If I can manage to read The Devils in time, I want to do a dedicated review of it. I think it's a new book a lot of people are probably interested in. Takes both good, complex, bad, anything in between. And I would love to kind of put my own spin on it. So, and then the second thing I want to do is a June TBR. Now I'm doing it again a week earlier than June, because I want to give people plenty of time if they want to hop on, and also prepare themselves if they are part of one of these read-alongs that we're doing on the channel as well. So that is kind of the plan there. And then on Sunday, I am very excited to have the wonderful, the legendary Janny Words back on the channel for round 2 of a discussion about Wars of Light and Shadow, as we have all now finished Ships of Merrier and Warhost of Vastmark. Books 2 and 3 in an omnibus volume is what I had as the hardcover. And we're going to talk all things Wars of Light and Shadow, where the characters are now. And this is kind of the end of Arc 2. So book 1 was Arc 1, books 2 and 3 are Arc 2, and then so on and so forth. I figured I would have Janny back to talk a little bit more in depth about the writing process for this, how it was different from the first book, and just talk a little bit more about the characters. So feel free to join us in the chat. It would be lovely to see you all. And if you're reading along with us, then please feel free to join, because I think Jenny will have some valuable insights, as always, about the writing process and also these wonderful, wonderful characters and stories she's created. So that's going to happen on Sunday. And let's talk a little bit about the music front, because the music front has been, again, gangbusters this week. On Monday, I did a Society of Composers and Lyricists virtual screening that was kind of put together by my PR team and Amazon and Sony. And that was a review of episode 6, season 3, where The Hills of Tanchico was featured. And then I had a dear friend, Catherine Joy, a wonderful composer in her own right, moderate a Q&A discussion for an hour as we talked about the process of that and how I dove into the writing process of Riding the Hills of Tanchico. So that was really, really great. If there's video that will be released of that live stream, I will absolutely share it with you all in case you're curious. Tuesday, I had a wonderful interview with Dan Selke from Winter is Coming. Now, Winter is Coming, I have read tons of articles, seen news break on there all the time. So I've been following them for years now. So it was a real thrill to get to talk to him for half an hour about all things Hills of Tanchico as well. That's going to be released on both the YouTube channel and as an interview that's written on winterscoming.net. So I will keep you all posted as soon as that's up. But Dan, in case you're watching this, thanks for having me. And it was really fun discussing with you all things Hills of Tanchico. And then, let's see, I'm pulling up my list because I wrote them all down because a lot of stuff happened. This week as well, the Giant Collider article was also released talking about all things the making of Hills of Tanchico and my trajectory from being a fan of the books, writing a pitch, getting to work on Lauren's team, becoming a music team lead, and then eventually writing Hills of Tanchico. So just the whole arc of it all. And it was really wonderful talking to Carly from Collider. And I'm linking that article below in case you want to check it out. It's a nice deep dive kind of an interview. So it's the biggest interview I've ever done to date. And it's very exciting all around, you know. And then, you know, I was telling you guys, I was feeling very burnt out because I was trying to do this triathlon training in the middle. And it's exhausting to do that. And I found myself just like trying to read a book and falling asleep in the middle of the afternoon for like 3 hours at a time. And it just wrecks my whole day, you know. And yesterday, I went to a concert called the Night Temple here in Los Angeles. What they're trying to do is provide a beautiful space for musicians, composers to come together. Composers can commission original works or rearrange their works from film, television, whatever it is, for this string ensemble. And so they had a wonderful concert. It was packed. It was like 150 people there, all crammed into the space to watch music. And I gotta say, it filled up my soul. I had some of the best conversations I had in months there with some wonderful fellow composers. And it kind of made me remember why I do this. You know, it's like when you start to go through interview after interview, or like, that's a good problem to have. But when, you know, too much of anything feels like a lot. And I was starting to kind of lose perspective, honestly. I was like, oh, God, another thing I have to do, you know. And you never want to feel like that, especially when it's something you love. And I'm trying to be very cognizant of that and go, something needs to be course corrected. And I feel like the universe really provided that for me yesterday because I woke up this morning feeling like $1,000,000. And I went for a run in Santa Monica early this morning with a good friend of mine who were training for the triathlon together. And I feel very excited and hopeful for this coming week, both in reading, both in music, both in life. And I'm just excited for everything. So if you could tell my enthusiasm in this video, I feel very just like excited about life right now. So it couldn't have come at a better time. I would love to know also, like, how was your week? Did you have a good week? Did you have a roller coaster week like I did? Anything interesting happened to you that we could celebrate as well? Because I would love to, you know, give you a little shout out or something. And I just want to celebrate you all as much as I get to chat about my week, right? Because we're all friends here. And we all have a community together. And it's important to me that that we all highlight each other. So let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're thinking. And as always, please like and subscribe. I'm Nick Hill with Shelf-Esteem. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. It's a crazy world out there, but the books bind us all. So I will see you on the next video. Take care.